Well, it's always good to win the first set. It does give you a little bit of a lift, and I started, well, I wouldn't say I started that slowly, just that Rod was playing extremely well at the beginning of the first set, and I did get back and only lose at 6-4, but I was quite happy to feel, well, I was back in the match there, even though I'd lost the first set. And Rod, somehow or another, he kind of tensed up a little bit after that, and although I was beginning to play pretty well, I think the second set was my best set. Obviously, well, I won a 6-love, but sometimes the scores don't indicate how close the games really were, but I think that was about as best I played. And at the beginning of that second set, Rod seemed to have a bit of a letdown. He lost a little bit of rhythm on his service, and I picked up, and that helped me a lot.
In playing inside with the lights for television, I imagine it made it rather warm. Is there a lot of pressure? Do you feel boxed in when all these people surround you playing for $50,000?
Well, I should say that I'm used to playing in indoor conditions because I've had plenty of experience in the early days of pro tennis when we played in a lot of very small high school gymnasiums and university gymnasiums too. Of course, I remember one of my first ever pro matches in the USA was here at the SMU Coliseum in 1957, so I've had experience of playing there. But it is good, of course, to have a big crowd because the enthusiasm and the noise kind of echoes, and you always really feel as though everyone's very interested.
I think the men's swimming team has a good chance of winning 50% of the medals available in men's swimming, and certainly we hope to have some of the fine Dallas and SMU swimmers on our team. I think a leader has to be Jerry Heidenreich, and we have great hopes for Jerry, and of course I think Paul Tietze has an excellent chance of making the team, as well as Ronnie Mills, who was on our '68 men's Olympic team.
Have you visited the facilities in Munich?
Yes, I have, Jerry. I've been there 3 times making arrangements for the team. And while we enjoy and appreciate the best housing that has ever been provided in the Olympic Games, the facilities are also fine, and it's easy walking distance from the housing to the facilities. But we're very disappointed in the seating capacity. The swimming stadium will only seat 7,000 people. However, 2,000 of them will have to stand. And if you look at 1964 in Tokyo, the swimming stadium seated 13,400, and in Mexico City, 10,200. So you can see why we're disappointed. We'd like to have 40,000 people watching those swimmers.
What countries will present the U.S. with top competition?
Jerry, our challenge in swimming will come from East Germany, and from the Soviet Union, from Australia, West Germany, and Sweden.
I disapprove with anybody being shot, regardless of whether anybody agrees with his thinking or his reasoning or his talk or anything. I think it's inhumane, and I think it's pathetic that this country's still at that stage.
I think it's insane and frightening. The man is a human being with a right to his point of view.
Outrage, really, that a leader should be cut down for any segment of the population.
I think it's very deplorable. I think great men come and go, and people speak out for what they believe in, and they get shot. It's really sad.
Whether or not I cast my vote for him or he win, He's not going to do anything personally for me, neither is he going to do anything against me. You see what I'm getting at? So, I mean, like I say, it's a drastic thing, and like everybody else, I hate to see anybody get bumped off, so to speak.
You would rather run in Texas in a primary, but you don't have a primary because we'd have a lot better chance of getting delegates. However, if people who support me will go to the precinct conventions on May 6th and vote for delegates who have pledged to me in Miami, we can win delegate votes here. I hope that everybody who supports George Wallace will go to these conventions on Election Day, May 6th.
What are you going to tell these delegates in order to get them to see it your way?
You mean to tell the delegates?
Right.
Well, of course, I feel that there are many delegates who are going to be pledged to me if they are elected at the precinct conventions. I will tell the delegates here what I told people in Wisconsin, what I told them in Florida. And I frankly think that the majority of the people in Texas agree with the positions I've taken. They must be pretty good positions because the other candidates are now taking those same positions. I wish they'd have taken them earlier, but they at least are taking some of them now.
I think very well we might see some. Certainly the parties will be made aware that we expect the people they recommend to be those who will go and seek training, and the training is available here in town, and the county clerk's office can conduct and will conduct more than one meeting, so if people have conflicts they can do that. And I feel that very well in November we're going to see those go who are wanting to be sincerely interested in being election judges are going to go find themselves the training that's necessary to become certificated.
The final count from the morning's recount gave Commissioner Roy Orr 12 more votes than he had in the original count, and challenger Dick Reed 20 more votes than in the tabulation made election night. But Reed's net gain of 8 votes wasn't nearly enough to put the primary into a runoff. The final recount numbers still give Orr 17,067 votes, which computes to about 57.5% of the total votes cast in the primary.
Okay, any company that does business with the government, that is, they have a contract it's over $50,000 and they have 50 employees, they are required to have what the government calls an affirmative action program. And in this program, they have to do an analysis of their own workforce and find out what their utilization is of women and minorities in all job categories. And if women and minorities are underutilized in terms of their availability, their general availability in the workforce, then that company has to set goals and timetables to employ women and minorities in the jobs where they are underutilized.
What happens if they don't?
If they don't, they can be taken through administrative procedures which could eventually cause them to lose their present federal contract and to be debarred from future federal contracts.
The Dallas County Heritage Society's dream of establishing an outdoor museum complex is coming true. Members of the Junior League of Dallas made a presentation of a major gift to the Heritage Society before a meeting of the Park Board this morning as part of their 50th anniversary. The gift, about $50,000 from the Junior League, is to move another historical monument to the city park at Gano and South Irving in establishing a Dallas Heritage Center in cooperation with the Park Board. The Heritage Society began 3 years ago establishing a museum complex of historic buildings representative of early Dallas. The home of William Miller, constructed in the 1800s, was the first of 3 structures presently reassembled at City Park. The Miller family log cabin schoolhouse and a log playhouse complete the tribute to this pioneer family. By July 1976, the 200th anniversary of the independence of the United States, the Heritage Society hopes to add 5 more structures to complete their project of preserving a part of Dallas's past. June Gray, Channel 8 News on the Move.
And this comes as a shock to me. What does it do to you inside knowing that another presidential candidate's been shot? It's a sad state of affairs when things like this happen.
It makes you wonder what the world's coming to today. I'm going to have to go. There's my bus.
I'm amazed something like this is still happening in this country. Well, I think it's a very bad thing to happen in this day and age. I'm really sad to see something like this happening.
I can't believe that a man, no matter what his political views, can't express them and can't take a stand for what he believes in without being shot.
I think every man that runs for political office this day has got to wear a coat of armor before he can even get anywhere.
41% of the total vote, while 2 other candidates in the primary were unchanged in the recount. So it appears that Roy Orr has won the nomination for Commissioner from District 4 outright, and of course he will not face a Republican opponent for that position in the November general election. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move.
This, or they will not get it.
This is the order of the Commissioner's Court, that we will not, here in the future, make any appointments of election judges who have not had the training. So this is going to be an improvement for everybody, and hopefully no inconvenience for anyone.